Peace.
Salam, Imran.
Salam, Asad. What's going on?
Nothing. We're back after what 5 6 days here from our.
Yeah.
This is our third stream and second live one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as expected and as usual, I see millions streaming in to watch us. Uh,
Yeah.
Give them the good tidings that they're going to hell, yeah, unless they turn back. But these good tidings do not seem to penetrate their thick skulls, and but we will continue to tell them, or the abyss, as I call it. Yeah, in the abyss it shall go.
Like you've been saying, and like the book has been clarifying, the hearts are covered up,
Sealed,
sealed. They just
blinded,
don't want to see it.
deafened. Sealed, blinded, deafened,
Mm.
cannot comprehend. But their intellects are really sharp. It comprehends everything, right? Their intellect, each one of them,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, it's so they figure out everything, and then some after that. Apparently, today, in the in the world around you, with the enormous, unthinkable, unfathomable, beyond imagination trajectory of technological and scientific progress. Have you not seen it over the last 30, 40 years? Look what we have become. I mean, it can only come out of a fairy tale or science fiction what we have accomplished in the last 30 years. So, of course, the next step is that they will all become gods, right?
Especially, did you lose me?
Yeah, I did for a little while.
Yeah, I see what happened. Now you're
Yeah.
frozen.
Oh no, I'm here. I can see you. I
Yeah,
can see myself and you.
now you're speaking. So, as I was saying, that if anyone has any problems with that, or if anyone has any questions with what I just said, feel free to come on the show and talk to Asad about it. And especially those who call themselves the so called Muslims and who hold the Quran, we are openly inviting everyone freely to come and have a debate or a discussion or ask questions, because there is no doubt, and I can say it without any intimidation or without any confusion, that for the past 12 years what I've been reading on the majesticreading.com is the absolute truth. I've asked many people to come and push it back. I haven't seen so far anyone come with any legitimate or intellectual or any decent smart question. Everyone just coming to attack this guy, and which proves that he's saying the truth, because people just come and attack him. So without any delay, I
I
would like
think one thing I'd suggest is just splash that link in the chat. So if anybody really wants to come and either challenge me, try and denigrate me, or reject what I'm saying, or question me about the Quran, because fundamentally my basis of knowledge is only and exclusively driven by what is written in the Quran. Before I see anything. Of course, all the stuff outside helps, and certainly the Torah and the Injil, which is known as the Gospel or Bible, they help. But the fundamental structure that my wisdom and knowledge is based upon lies in the Quran. So that you must first understand, and then you can reject the Quran. I mean, you're rejecting God when you reject the Quran. You're rejecting God when you reject the angels. You're rejecting God when you reject the hereafter. And you're rejecting God when you're rejecting God. So you reject any one of us, you're rejecting God, and your end will be the fire. And that's what I stand on. And I will not move from that position till I die. And I find out for certainty what reality is myself as well. Although I know it better than most of these people, I can see the unseen, quote unquote, see metaphorically. I don't see it, I don't know it, but I know it and I see it. It's a metaphor. Let's not talk further in it. So, yeah, it's there. Anybody who wants to come, they can click on it and they can join the conversation. No problems.
Yeah, and don't be afraid. Be afraid of God. I just to quickly give a backdrop. I did not listen and obey the way I should have. And I paid the price for that. But what hurts me is that the one who created me, the one who sustains me, the one who feeds me, takes care of me, and everyone knows that intrinsically in our soul that there is a higher power. I had to obey him after being shafted. That is my biggest grief, that I could not just submit and obey and listen to this almighty creator who's sending a messenger telling me, explaining me the book that I hold, that I've been, keeping. I mean, I was born in Pakistan. Everyone in Pakistan, most of the people in Pakistan, we know where they keep the Quran. It's always on the top of their shelf. Go, don't touch, gather dust. but but then we ask God, help us, explain us, send us a guide. And when God sends a guide, and the book is very clear, to all people a guide, and people means, people. So here we are a people, and guess what God has sent? But obviously the souls will reject them, because he's come here to correct us, and we all think that we're righteous. Yeah, so much for the righteousness in the world that we see. But I don't want to waste your time on this. And there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to fake news. People talk about fake news about Russia and about US and about all the other bullshit, but there's a lot of fake news, lies about the God.
Yeah, all
so
over the place.
so I would request you to explain to us, what do you know about this entity from the Quran and from other books of God that have been talking about it since eons.
Yeah.
So this is the
So,
thing that I just wanted to
yeah.
bring
So
up.
yeah. So this is our attempt of talking about today. Yeah,
Yeah.
God, the Quran, soul, Satan. So yeah, see if we can get through these,
Hmm.
because these are, I mean, these subjects you can talk about for days at a time, each one of them. Yeah. So let's try and address it. So let's start with the God. Yeah.
Hmm.
So first of all, I mean, the God is defined in the dictionary as the supreme being. I mean, even in the dictionary of the satanic rejectors, the God is defined as the supreme being. That is the English word for God. In Arabic, it's called Allah, which basically fundamentally translates to the God into English. In the Hindu tradition, it's Om. In Persian and Urdu, it's called Khuda. Yeah. In Spanish, Dios. Yeah. And on and on. And Deus in Latin, I believe. Yeah, I'm not sure. So he has many names that define the fundamental word God. And he has many attributes. Yeah. I mean, there are so many attributes of God, which you can read in the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran as well. And fundamentally, we only know about this entity what's written in these books. And from the understanding and interpretation of what's written there, we can see his um, fingerprints as a metaphor in the creation around us. That's how we can understand who God is. I mean, what God is, forget it. I mean, like, we really don't know what God is. Yeah, I mean, we can say who God is or what God is, but most of what we can understand is what He does from the books and what we see in front of us. Because everything we see in front of us is done by God. What we do with our hands is done by God. And people say, oh, so all the killing and murder? Exactly. You think you're doing it? You think you're doing it because God doesn't want you to do it. The killing and raping and pillaging and swindling and stealing and lying and hypocrisy and idol worship and scheming and planning evil. You think all this is done by you because God doesn't want you to do it. Yeah, keep thinking. Everything is from God. Then you will blame God for it, obviously, and you will soon see who is to blame for it. The only thing you can blame God for is the good that you do, and not the evil. But the evil is also being done by God. So back off from this a little.
Hmm.
First of all, a soul, man, woman, man is the same thing. Yeah. When I say man, it includes women, men and women. Yeah. When I say woman, it only includes woman, not man. They can cry about it. I don't care. That's how God works. When God says sons, in the Torah or the Bible or the Quran, it includes sons and daughters or just sons. When he says daughters, it only includes daughters. And that's how it is. I mean, you can argue with God about it. It's not my business. I'm telling you how it is. Yeah. It is my business, but it's not really my, I didn't do it. I mean, God does it like that. He chooses the sons over the daughters, obviously, with the exceptions like Mary,
Mm.
mother of Jesus. So, first of all these people, the soul, the man needs to understand or accept that there is a God. I mean, unless you accept there is a creator, a God, or Allah, or Om, or Yahweh, they call it in the Jewish tradition. So, unless you accept that fact, what is the merit of this question that you asked me?
There is no merit.
So, first, you got to figure out for yourself. Don't tell me to prove it to you. Don't ask me to prove to you that God exists. That is your challenge. You must prove it to your own self, your own soul. The soul must prove it to herself. Now, I can give you an example where you don't have to 100% believe God exists to believe God exists. How would you think that would be?
I have no idea about that one.
Okay, so basically, you can never be 100% sure. The best believer is 99.9999999 recurring star on top
Mm.
believer that God exists. There's always doubt. Because without doubt, there can be no belief. And without doubt, there can be no rejection. So now, when you're in doubt of rejection or belief, you got to find a midpoint, which is 50%. Yeah. If you, that's the perfect agnostic is a 50% believer in God. Because he
Wow.
says he exists, he doesn't know if he exists, and he doesn't know that he doesn't exist. So he's right in the middle. Yeah, he's on the line. He's going to hell, obviously. You got to be 50% plus the smallest point to be counted as one who is actually believing God exists. And that's where belief starts from. And then from that, you get to a point where you submit. You submit to the fact that God exists and you submit to Him. Obviously, once you understand and submit, accept that there is this God. I mean, does any soul have any ability to then not submit to that authority? I mean, there's no way. I mean, once you know the guy has the gun that can blow you away, you submit to that guy. Yeah. So this is fundamentally how your belief system would go to accepting there's a God. It's for yourself. It doesn't matter. Now, once you've accepted that, then you have to figure out. So he's the God. So he created all of this and me as well. Then you have to figure out. Oh, I'm created. I just didn't come from a monkey like Darwin told me. Wow, is that true? Then you have to unravel all those things to figure out what God really is. Then when you've gone through all your scientific nonsense and you've destroyed it and massacred it and made it into a pile of turd that it is, then you say, so what happened? There's books. There are books that supposedly came from God. Maybe there's answers in there, and that's where you start to understand who God is and what He does. What God is I mean, I can give you some hints to what the book says. The book says that God sees, so He has eyes. Yeah, don't mistake them for your eyes. God hears, don't mistake them for your ears. Yeah, God has hands, two hands. It says the Quran says He has a left hand and the right hand. Yeah, it's clear. Don't mistake them for your hands. Yeah, there's no beard mentioned in the Quran that God has. The low, flowing white beard that they show you on those
Mm.
Michelangelo with the
Yeah, and then
God
old,
pointing
old
his
being,
hand.
everything old and
Yeah,
white.
yeah, and then he's touching man with his old rose flowing.
Yeah.
Nonsense, absolute nonsense. Yeah. So he has hands. So now I actually was thinking about this, and left and right hand. He says the Jews, they say, and the rejectors, that God is the poor. Yeah. And we are the self-sufficient. Yeah,
Yeah, the
there's
beggar.
something like the beggar, poor,
Yeah, yeah.
and we are the self-sufficient. Yeah. And the spirit response is they're cursed with what they say. God spends how he wishes, and he extends both his hands and spends how he wishes. Now, if you look at the Quran, it says there is the right hand and the left hand of God. In the right hand are the companions of the right hand of God. And the left hand are the companions of fire, which are the rejectors, the hypocrites, yeah, the Satans. So that's the left and right hand of God. As I see it, it's my interpretation. You can argue it, may be wrong. It just came to me today as I was lying down and thinking, and that's how most of things get explained to me. When I'm lying down and just thinking nonsense, the reality comes to me when I'm actually connected to God, obviously, because he explains it to me. I can't. This is the first time in like 20 years that I said, wow, that's probably it, because both the evil and the good is in the hands of God, and he spends on both. It's not like the evil is not spent on by God. It's not like they have all the power and wealth of the earth because God doesn't spend. So that's the left hand of God spending. And the right hand is us, me, the believers, and the messengers, and the angels, and the prophets, and the believers and the Muslims as well on the right hand. The bifurcation is at the level of Muslim. The first person in the right hand of God is the one called Muslim. Not these, don't get confused.
Mm-hmm.
Not these 1.5 billion so-called Muslims who are not. They are not Muslims. Understand this. If they were Muslims, they would not be doing what they are, first of all. And they would be saying the truth about the book they hold, which is the Quran. And they would be studying it every day. They would be implementing it every day. Instead of their nonsensical laws and convenient constitutions, which make man God and make God a dog fundamentally. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the word God, the opposite of God is dog. So that's what they make God fundamentally. When they denigrate his books and his messengers, they make him into a dog, and they say all good things about him, like everybody praises everybody else, but in actual sense, they hate them. It's just hypocrisy. Yeah? The true praise is in the heart. It never needs to be uttered from the mouth. Never. When someone is appreciating me, I don't need him to open his mouth to tell me. I know. And when someone is being nasty to me, I don't need him to open his mouth to tell me either. I know. And that knowing comes from God. So, and it's for God that we do everything. So coming back to what is God? Who is God? So God is the one who created everything. Once you've accepted there's a God, then there can be no other answer that he created everything. Everything around you is created by him. Now, what are the things the Quran says about God? He is the Almighty. He is the Merciful. He is loving. He hates, loves and hates. And I can guarantee you he loves more than hates his creation. Because man and demon are a minor part of his creation. He only hates them. He doesn't hate anyone other than man and demon. And only when the man and demon reject him and his messengers and the books and the hereafter, and they make equals with God, that's when he hates them. And he's compassionate. Yeah. He's forbearing. Yeah. He lets us do all our evils for what seems to be forever for most of us, yeah, until we die. Yeah, then he grabs us. Some of us he grabs before or when we die. So he passes over most of our evils. Yeah. He's the creator of all good and all evil. He created the heavens and the earths and what is between them and what is beneath the earth, the hellfire. He created all of it. It's all within God. It can't be outside of God. He created the Satan, although Satan wasn't created as a Satan, as a story we might touch upon if we get to it. So he's the one. He listens. He listens to everybody all the time, everywhere, no matter what or who or where it is. He listens and he sees the same way. He's with you where what you be. There is no escape from God. You cannot hide from God. You can hide from us. and you can
That
hide from others.
even that is not difficult. Even that is not. You won't get far if hiding
Yeah,
from
I mean,
messengers of
you of
God.
course no, but you can hide from us. Obviously, we can't hide from the angels that are next to you.
Oh yeah.
They're not going to let you go. They're there. You can run as fast as you want. I mean, there's no way you can outrun the angels of God. They're right next to you. But God is with you wherever you are, whatever you are, what you're thinking. He knows what each soul is thinking at any instant. He knows. He knows what you're contemplating. He knows what you're plotting. He knows what you're intending. That's why he knows everything. But he doesn't know what you're going to do. He doesn't know to what level you're going to intend it as man and demon. That's the whole trial, right? That's why we're here, to get to that level of full intent where God accepts, okay, he really intends to kill this person. So go ahead, kill him. God will say, go ahead, kill him. But he didn't tell me. Yeah, exactly. He didn't tell you, but he heard you enough. You really want to kill this guy? Okay, go kill him. Yeah. And you will burn for killing him. Or you might be forgiven, like in the case of Moses, which was actually I wouldn't say he intended to kill the guy. Yeah? He struck him and he was so strong that he killed the guy. Yeah? In the story that is of Moses killing the enemy of one of his people in Egypt, wherever it was, that story lends to the belief that it was a mistake. He didn't really kill him premeditated. In any case, the guy was not a believer, obviously, from how the story goes. So, yeah, he knows what you're doing. He knows what you're intending. Don't run from him. So, if you open your heart to God and your soul submitted to him and peaceful, and you accept the nonsense that you are and that you think all the time, yeah, then he will accept you as you are, and then hopefully you will intend to become better. That's why you accept your nonsense, because you want to become better. Yeah, you want to become better. So I mean, do you want any other explanation? Do you have any
No,
other questions on this?
that's enough. I mean, I remember once you said to me, uh, just go look up in the heaven at night and tell me who created all of that. You'll know who is God. So, but right now, another question just popped up, which is not in that list, but I really want to ask you this. I mean, for those who believe that there is a God, every time God chooses to send a messenger, why do they start hating him, gutting him, pushing him, insulting him? I mean, what does a messenger of God ask from people? Nothing. He just says, listen and obey, follow
Well,
me
he
and follow God.
asks. He
Yeah,
asks
he asks, he
to
says,
listen
follow,
and obey. Obey me. Fear
fear
God and
God.
obey me. That's what he wants. He
Okay,
doesn't
so
want your wealth. He
he's not
doesn't
taking
want
any
your
money.
children. He doesn't want your inheritance.
No.
That's what God wants you to do, to spend in his path, yeah, and strive with your wealth and your souls in path of God. That's what God wants. It's not what I want.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it myself, what I have. If you want to strive in the path of God, you need to do that. I don't want your wealth.
Mm.
Yeah. If you want to bring it to me, hey, help me out. I'm like, yeah, you do it yourself. I don't want to be part of this getting your wealth and helping you out. There are places where the God says that 20% of all bounty goes to God and his messengers. Yeah. And bounty is when you have a war and you overcome your enemy. That's bounty, right? Or you just get something for free without
Mm.
any striving on your part as far as your hands, your feet, and your intellect is concerned. It just drops in your, a gold nugget. 20% of that goes to God and his. Oh, so God wants your wealth.
Yeah,
God
explain.
wants your gold. That's what they're going to tell you next.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, morons. If you read, what he actually wants is the poor to get it, the
Mm.
close one of the messengers, that they are in need, the refugees, the orphans. Yeah. So that the wealth doesn't stay with the rich people, yeah, only. And that is not all your wealth. These people take 50% of your earnings, which you do with your hands and feet. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
no such thing in the book of God. It's of your bounty, what you bounty 20, or what you want to give in path of God. Do it yourself. I mean,
Mm.
you're intelligent enough.
Mm.
I mean, it's not like you need to know what to do. It's all written in the book what you need to spend on. The first thing he tells you to spend on is your parents, And the last thing you do is spend on your parents. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a culprit of that.
So these are the things that God has shown, because it's all against us. So you were coming back to you. Why do they denigrate people like me?
Hmm.
When you're told you're an idiot, you're not going to like it. When you're told you're totally unrighteous and you're going to hell if you don't listen to me, and I know how you will not go to hell, this is not possible. When I tell you your understanding of the book you hold is total nonsense, and you don't understand the first word written in it, you're not going to like it. When I tell you all your theology and your theologians, whatever
Yeah,
that word is,
theologians, whatever.
theologians, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever, how is that? The theologians are total satanic scum, all of them, save none. Yeah, you're not going to like that because they're your gods. You see,
Hmm.
they're actually your gods. Yeah, they make themselves with all these robes and all these, the pontiff hat, and the red slippers or his shoes, and the white robes that they wear, and the hat that the Jews wear, and the caps that the Muslims wear, and the turbans that they say. This all is nonsense. I mean, I'm not saying don't do it, but this is not your religion. This is your tradition that you've invented. It has nothing to do with reality. I mean, there's no way God wants you to dress in any particular way except to cover your evil parts. Yeah, that's how He wants you to dress. That's all. Yeah, the rest you can dress as you want. There's no formality that,
Hmm.
oh, look, this guy's got a turban on, so he's either a mullah or he's a Sikh guy. Oh, he's got a, how do you call the fez of, no, that's the Turkish one. What's the one for the Jews? The little hat.
Uh, uh,
The little hat on their
yeah.
head. Yeah, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you're a Jew. Yeah. And
Hmm.
then if you wear these cardinal hats over you, you're a pope or a cardinal, and nonsense. There's no such thing. This is all made up nonsense by these
Ye-
people. So you will obviously defer to authority, which you have accepted, while I have the authority, and you will not accept it because I don't have wealth. I don't have a degree in theology. Yeah. I didn't go to the theologian schools. Yeah. The theist schools. Yeah. I didn't go there. So how can I have any kind of authority over you with these unbelievably intelligent, intellectual, wise old men? Pope Francis being one of them, a complete Satan. The guy is a Satan. Understand it. He is a Satan. He will burn in hell, no doubt in it. And so will all the other rabbis and mullahs and imams and monks and everyone else. Gurus, they will burn in hell. The mystics and all these people who pretend to know God, spiritualists, the angel guide. My angel guide told me this. No, it was a demon that told you that, not an angel
Yeah.
guide. Yeah. So this, when I come with the truth, yeah, which I know to be the truth, and the rest of you know to be absolute lie, because it's against what you know to be truth. So how will you accept me?
Hmm.
Until you accept that what the truth that you know is a lie, that's the only way you can entertain that the other guy might be telling the truth. I had to do that with my soul. Go ahead.
This can easily be done if they just open the book and they
No, no,
say, "Oh,
don't
but,
tell them this stuff. This is
no, but
Well, what are you talking about?
isn't this
Open
the
book?
key? If you
This
open the book and you
we
say, "Oh
want to
my God,
open Playboy. We don't want to open the Quran. What are you talking about? The Quran, the Bible? No. This is not how it works. We want the Hustler magazine. We want Playboy. We don't want this Quran. I mean, it's too boring, repetitive. Just keeps repeating things over and over. So don't put this across. You tell them that. Open the book and they will scoff at you. We already know what's in it. What are you talking about?
No, I said it because two things. One is that when I first said it, that hey, do you know Asad is a messenger of God? And it was like, oh. And I was like,
Yeah.
hang on a sec. I didn't say he's God. I never said that.
No.
I'm
This is
saying,
where the problem is. You just got the problem. Their messenger is their God. So they can be no other messenger.
yeah.
They love their messenger more than God, obviously. Look around.
But for
Or
the
equal to God. No, actually not equal, more than God, they love him.
Hmm.
And this, I'm talking him meaning Muhammad.
Yeah, but like you said, the Muhammad that we know from the Quran is not the one that they talk about.
We know exactly because we read the Quran and we see actually what he says. Oh, he was so merciful. He took beating from this woman. His blood was in his. He would no. If you read the guy who's talking to us in this book, he's a kick-ass guy. He ain't no merciful person. He ain't no compassionate person. Yes, he's merciful and compassionate with the believers. Yeah, you don't find believers when the messenger comes. Do you think when Muhammad came, they were believers around him? They were wretched, wicked, rejectors, hypocrites, idol worshippers, the servers of Satan and the demons as they are today. It's the same thing. I mean, I haven't come to a different humanity. It's the same humanity that Muhammad came to, that Jesus came to, that Moses came to, that Abraham came to, that Noah came to, and all the other messengers and prophets. We don't come to a different civilized humanity. Yeah? Their civilization that they've invented is worth nothing except wretchedness and wickedness and debauchery and lewdness. This is
Hmm.
the civilization they've invented. Yeah, God's civilization is pretty easy. There's nothing to it. You don't have to invent any of this nonsense. Yeah. So that's why they're never going to believe that there is a messenger coming now, because everyone who gets his messenger says there's no one coming after him. Like Moses is the best, and they don't accept David and Solomon, the Jews. Yeah. They glorify him because he was a king and he got all those victories in battle, but they don't accept him as a messenger. Yeah. Solomon and David. And when Jesus came and went, they made him God, Son of God. The Messiah is the Son of God for them. Yeah. And he did all the stuff he did. And he warned them about a false prophets will come after me. Many will come in my name. False prophets. There you go. Muhammad is not a prophet. All they needed to do was invent this one line. And then these Mohammedans, they're not Muslims. You would call them Mohammedans, because that's a religion they've invented on a name called Muhammad, not the man who actually existed. Because the man who actually existed, I know. I know that man. He speaks to me, and I speak for him. That's how every messenger is to the one before him. We speak for the one before us. We don't speak against him. You have made him into a
God.
fictitious, fantastical being of unbelievable and unfathomable stories that you have put across on him. Yeah. And then you make him into your God. That's what he said. And God says to obey God and the messenger. So you must obey what he said. And it's only one messenger for them. Yeah. After Muhammad, only Muhammad needs to be obeyed. And Abraham said, yeah, one who obeys me is from me, and one who disobeys me, but surely the God forgiving, merciful. And this is not the exact statement, but this is what he said to God. So now that he said that, that doesn't apply anymore after Muhammad comes, right? Now it's only Muhammad. Yeah. While Muhammad says, follow nation of Abraham. Follow nation of Abraham, true. And surely it is not from the partnering. We don't partner with God. We don't like equals. We don't, and this word partner, we can talk some other time. My
Hmm.
wife wanted to talk about it actually later this week. That was one of them that you put in the list that you sent me earlier. Anyway, we'll come to that. So that's how they delude everything into what they want to be, and they make themselves the best ones. And for the Muslims, so-called, who are not, they've taken that name Muslim. And God has let them take that name Muslim, which is in the Quran. But they don't understand that it's not the Muslim that follows this Quran. It's the Mu'min. And they have no idea. They go, oh, this Mu'min is some fantastical secret being that only God knows who they are. I can tell you, I also know who they are. All my messengers before me. Muhammad was one of them, yeah. And Jesus, and Moses, and Abraham, and Noah, and all the others. And God is Al-Mu'min. God is the believer, true, yeah. He's the absolute believer. So this is all nonsense. And the book is for those who believe. Allavina amanu. Yeah, it's not for Allavina aslamu. Wherever you see, it's addressed, oh you, those who believe. Not, oh you, those who Muslims. That's where God's put the joke on them. They call themselves Muslims and then think they're the best, while Muslim is a nothing. is a nothing entity. Although, having said that, it is not nothing, because that's the first entity that will be allowed into the garden and be forgiven by God, possibly, because we are all liable to go to hell, even if we're believers. We are liable if we overstep our authority. We become gods in our hearts. We start partnering with God. We start calling ourselves God and lords. Then we are also going to go to hell after we believe. Or you reject God after you believe. So many people. There's this one guy who I was talking to for years, yeah. And he came, he accepted that I'm a messenger, and then he steps up. I'm not, because I've come 80% back, and I'm just going to step back from this messenger thing, yeah. Okay, so you're no, I'm not rejecting that you're a messenger, and I'm not accepting you're a messenger. All right, you're a big hypocrite, and you go to hell, yeah, and that's where they're going to end up. It's mankind is like this. When crap comes to them, when evil comes to them, they cry out for help intrinsically, and most of them to God, without believing there's a God. God help us, yeah. I thought you didn't believe there was a God. No, no, God, my God, oh my God. This is what they will say while they don't believe. Now it's oh my gosh, yeah. They've made that into oh my gosh, oh goodness, no, oh God, oh goodness, yeah. Oh heavens, just to take God out of the equation. With their mouths, as all of them do, just like they take words out of their mouths to denigrate the messenger, or me today, that you're not. It doesn't change anything. I mean, I don't need you to believe that I'm the messenger. I'm not here to get a vote of confidence from any of you. No messenger is sent by God to make people believe. That's God's job. He'll make you believe via me if he wants, via the book if he wants, via anything else if he wants. But it depends on you and your commitment. So that's why they're never going to believe. They've rejected the fact that there's going to be another messenger. And they've rejected, everyone before them did the same thing. Every generation did the same thing.
Like we were talking about it earlier, that clearly in the Quran, when it says, when that believer in the family of Pharaoh who hid his faith, when he starts to speak and he says that that's what they said, that there will be no messenger after Joseph. And then the spirit says, that's how he makes astray the God. So
Yes.
anyone who says today that Asad Sirohi is not a messenger of God, guess what they are? They are astray because number one, they will, like you said in the first show, those who will believe with the signs of the God will know who you are. So
And
2 point,
they're Muslims.
and they're
And they're
Muslim,
Muslims.
and they're
Not just,
Muslim.
yeah. They have to be Muslims, otherwise they will not know what I'm saying. They will not never understand it.
Yeah. So this just clearly shows us, if we keep the book as the guide, that how many are astray and how many
All
are
of
not
them, they're
astray.
all astray because they say there'll be no more messengers, as if
Yeah.
God has died and gone away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, in reality, there are messengers everywhere around us. Everywhere you look, there are messengers of God. I mean, you can't see them, but they're there. They're called the angels. So, this is all nonsense by these people. They will invent all sorts of nonsense to explain away the reality of the unseen. And they make up stories about the unseen. And that's how they will end up in hell themselves. They're all going there. I mean, this is 99%. I mean, probably more. 99%. They're all going to hell today. There's no escape for that. I don't think there's any turning back either. I don't believe they're going to turn back at all now. And the wheels are turning and churning and bringing on their devastation and catastrophe, and they cannot be stopped now. They cannot be stopped, no matter who says, oh, we'll get okay, the war will end, we'll go back to the no. There's no going back to any normal now that you imagined. Yeah, it will not end till God has mowed down all these imbeciles and retards and morons, rejectors, satanic people on the earth. It will not stop before that. I mean, when is it going to happen? Yeah, my guess is as good as yours. But I can tell you it's in motion. This is no doubt. And since I've been here and I've been spreading this message with absolutely no response except denigration and rejection, it just goes to the clarity that what is happening is going to happen. There's no, you cannot You cannot deny it if you knew the book, but you will deny it because you know nothing about the book of God, which is the Quran. We can segue into the Quran from here. Yeah, the
Yeah.
next, what is the Quran? I
Yeah.
mean,
I, I, I mean, while you were saying there are gazillion questions going
yeah,
through,
go
but
ahead. No,
I
go
mean,
ahead. Come on. I mean, we can talk. It doesn't matter. We can just
yeah,
talk
I mean,
about this.
it just there were so many, so it just kind of flew out. But that point that I just can't get over that fact that how I was attacked by people I've known all my life, and all I said is that, hey, uh, you know, people have been talking about in the so-called Muslim world Hizbullah, which means the
Hmm.
party of the God,
Hmm.
and they don't understand that you cannot separate between the messengers of the God. You cannot pick and choose. You'll become rejected true, especially if you do that with the Quran. You have to accept all of it. And
Yeah.
why shouldn't you? I mean, what is this guy coming to ask you, man? I mean, he's only coming here asking about the Quran, and everyone's bottoms go on fire. They go on fire mode. I think that one way that worked with the will of God is to just accept that, hey, Asad, I don't know shit. Can you explain some things to me? And then
Hmm. No, no, no. That means that you accept your lowliness in front of a messenger of God, which
which
is
I am.
impossible because we're all equal, right? What
Yeah,
a joke. Equal my butt, yeah?
yeah,
You ain't equal to me. I'm not telling you, generally anyone. You ain't equal to me. I ain't equal to Jesus. I ain't equal to Muhammad. Nobody's equal to God. And they make equals to everybody, including God.
yeah,
Thus, they will burn in hell.
yeah.
They're people, they're making equals. Since everybody's equal, no one can be higher than the other one, yet they have their masters running around. Their CEOs, their CFOs, because they have big titles and they have big bank accounts with fake money in it.
Yeah, like that question that you were asking Manna Bhabi, Mrs. Asad Sirohi, that you did the show with Fear and Forgiveness. The only being that we know who we haven't seen or heard asking forgiveness of God in the Quran is Jesus, who was
From
pure
mankind, yeah.
from
From
mankind.
mankind
Yeah,
is Jesus. Every other person asks for forgiveness. Yeah, and we're told to ask for forgiveness.
yeah,
We're commanded. I have never seen Jesus ask for forgiveness
yeah.
for
So now they
himself
will.
in the
So,
Quran. Yeah, in the
yeah. So,
Quran, of course. I don't know how much what Jesus' whole story. I'm just specifically basing the evidence that is in the Quran.
well, he's coming back. He's gonna read it.
Oh,
All
yeah,
all the
he'll
books.
tell
Yeah,
us.
he'll
Don't
tell
worry.
us what's going
Maybe
on.
we'll be here to see him. I don't know. I mean,
Wow.
maybe if I'm here when Jesus comes back, that'll be the
Ooh.
most glorious day of my life. Then
Ooh.
I'll be, oh my God, it's done. It's done. Oh,
And then
holy.
all these Christians will say, "This is the
Yeah,
Antichrist."
and of course, when Jesus returns, you must understand he will be the Antichrist for
Hmm.
the Christians, and he will be the Antichrist for the Muslims as well, because he will tell him, no, no, I don't follow your damn Sunnah. I don't follow your damn stories which you call Hadith. I follow the Quran which Muhammad followed, so I follow Muhammad. But he followed me, so I follow myself. This is the nonsense these people live amongst. Yeah, I mean, we have now become enlightened. Yeah, we were in the dark ages all these 10,000 or 50,000 years that we have been here. We've been in the dark ages. Only now enlightenment has come to man, and we figured out all these things. We've learned to fly. Yeah, we've learned to make cars and electric cars and all this nonsense. Total bloody nonsense. There's another lie that has to be forgotten to learn the truth, that we are a bunch of retards compared to our ancestors. A bunch of retards, except the word retard. That's what we are, retards anyway, in general, mankind. I mean, we're retarded. I mean, come on. You cannot define man as anything but retarded
Hmm.
in ways that we cannot even imagine.
Hmm.
And certainly ways that we can. But we call the one who's retarded who can't use his hand, yeah?
Hmm.
Or is blind, yeah, handicapped or retarded or
Hmm.
mentally challenged. Yeah, the most intelligent of us is mentally challenged. Okay, so go figure.
Okay. So moving on, because you can go. So now we did talk about the God and the Quran, and of course, when I say the Quran, that means I would also request you to touch on the other books of the God.
Yeah.
Um, so
So yeah, I mean, this is another subject. Like I said earlier, we can go on talking forever on these things. There's so much knowledge, and the Quran says that the words of God will never end. Even if you had all the trees as pens and all the seas as the ink, and after that he added seas, it's not going to end. The words of God will never end. Yeah, just from the Quran, let alone the other books. Yeah, and the Injil is much more eloquent than the Quran in explaining things, and the evidence is in the Quran. You can read the last sign of chapter, I believe it's 48. I think it is the
Mhm.
last. Yeah, we can actually bring it up and read that sign to give the example of where it is clearly more eloquent than the Quran in that particular example, pointing to the fact that it's eloquent.
Yep. So let me just add that here. Chapter 48.
Yeah. So this is the last sign of chapter 48, where it is confirmed that Muhammad is messenger of God as well. You
Mm.
know, yes, Muhammad is messenger of the God. All right. But you don't have to say the kalima to become a Muslim. These people say, oh, look, it's written Muhammadur Rasulullah and it's written La ilaha illallah in the Quran. So the kalama is good. That's how it's good to say that in past conversation. Sure. I can say no God except God and Jesus is messenger of God. And no God except God and Moses is messenger of God. And I can say no God except God and Muhammad is messenger of God. But to become Muslim, don't tell me how to do that. Then you can go to hell. And that's why these people are not Muslims. They say, what's wrong with this? Saying that. No, I'm saying it's an absolute lie because you force people to recite that to become a Muslim. That is absolute lie. The only thing you need to say is Aslamtu li Rabbil Alameen. I submit to Lord of the Knowing. That's how you become a Muslim, nothing else. Yeah. Not by saying I believe there's a God. That doesn't make you submit to God. You
Mm.
must say, I submit to the God from your heart, not your mouth. Nothing matters what comes out of your mouth. It is your heart that needs to accept and submit, and your soul before that. Yeah. Anyway,
Mm.
so this sign, it says Muhammad, messenger of the God, and those with him severe over the rejectors. So where's the mercy here? Those with Muhammad are, so you are going to reject me, and I'm the messenger of God, and you want me to be merciful to you, while
Mhm.
those who are with me or Muhammad are going to be severe over you. So whoever's with me will be severe over those who reject me, and this applies
Mhm.
to every messenger and God and all the angels and everybody else. Merciful between themselves. There's the mercy. We are
Mhm.
merciful between ourselves, even though we fight and argue, by the way.
Yeah. So
The
it's like
message.
if I would come to you and say I accept this and I want to follow this, then
Yeah.
there would be some mercy.
Of course. If you
Yeah.
say that, but then when you prove that you're not, then there will be any mercy after that,
Yeah,
which
that's
most
true.
people do. Right.
Yeah.
They come and tell me, I want to learn this. Teach me. And then when I start teaching them, and it becomes hard for them, and they can't understand what I'm saying because they can't. They don't have the intellect. They don't have the wisdom. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the depth of soul. Then they run away, saying, I can't make this out. This is all nonsense. That's what happens to most of mankind when they come to the Quran. Same thing. They can't understand it, so they run away. So anyway, you see them bowing, prostrating, they're seeking grace from the God and happiness. That's us. Yeah. Oh, that means you got to put your head to the ground. Yeah. And bowing is you got to bend down 90 degrees like this. Yeah. I don't see any of that in the Quran, by the way. You can bow as you wish. You can prostrate as you wish. Yeah. As is good for you, you prostrate like that. And it's good for you, you bow like that. Yeah. The seeking of God's grace and happiness is what you want, not the exactitude of how you prostrate and how you bow. This is all nonsense. Yeah. There are marks in their faces from remnants of the prostrations. Oh, that's why you see the mark up here of the Muslim. They have a big black mark here because they bang their head on the ground. That's the mark. Okay? That's the mark. Don't tell me it's not. Don't tell me it's not. That's the mark. It's there. That's the mark of my prostration. Remnants of the prostration. This mark, look up here. Yeah, it could be. I mean, if you think prostration is banging your head on the ground, sure, that's going to be the remnant of that prostration. But that's not the prostration remnant God is talking about here, by the way. This is a metaphor. Metaphor. It is the bliss in your face. When you prostrate to God and you submit to God, It's the bliss that appears on your face. Those are the marks God is talking about here. Yes, of course, if you bang your head on the ground, then that's the mark of your prostration. But have you actually prostrated to God? Because that doesn't mean this, by the way. By banging your head on the ground does not mean you've prostrated to God. This is all nonsense. Okay?
It's the
That,
heart.
yeah, it's the heart and the soul needs to prostrate to God. Soul, you need to be prostrated. Your chest needs to be prostrated to God. Complete. Your being needs to be prostrated to God, not your body. The body is just an extension of that prostration, and you can then make it prostrate as you wish to God. I'm not saying putting your head to the ground is not allowed. I'm just saying that's not the only way. And that's how you portray it. And those morons that run around with a big mark on their head after 40 years of doing that, or 30, they're the true Muslims and they have got the remnants of prostration. No, that does not mean that. It does. Do you think all these people are actually prostrated, the so-called Muslims? None of them. So what does that mark mean? Nothing.
Hmm.
If they were actually Muslims, actually believers, not Muslim believers, yeah,
Hmm.
they were actually believers, yeah, and then they did this prostration in submission to God, true submission to God, then you can say that is a remnant of that prostration. But just the fact that you bang your head on the ground and then the mark appears on your forehead does not mean that's the remnants of prostration. This points to the bliss in your face, your whole glow, fundamentally, if I can say it. The glow coming out of your face, the serenity, the peace, and the bliss. That is the true remnant of true prostration, which is in the heart and the soul,
Hmm.
yeah, the chest are prostrated to God, of the believers. So that their example in the Torah. So this is an example, you see. It's
Hmm.
telling you it's an example, and you made it literal, right? It's telling
Hmm.
you this is an example, it's a metaphor, and you're making it real. It doesn't have to be. It can be any different way you can explain it, right? And the way I explain it, I think, is the best. That is the
Hmm.
bliss of serenity and peace on your face. What better thing than that in prostration? Your eyes. You will see it in the eyes. I see in the eyes of those who are prostrated. I can see the remnants of the prostration in their eyes. I can see it. Yeah. I don't know if others can or not. That their example in the Torah, and now it comes, and their example in the Injil, like growth, comes out its stalk, but it grows, but becomes strong, but sits over its base. They marvel the growth, to their fury with them, the rejectors. Promises the God those who believe and do the righteousness from them, forgiveness and reward great. So now here, look at this example. Does it mean it's supposed to come out and become a stalk? It's the example of how a seed grows. So your prostration starts with littleness and then it becomes absolutely permanent. That's fundamentally it. If you explain one sign, but how eloquent is the explanation in the Injil, in the
Beautiful.
Gospel of Jesus? So that's my example of why I believe the gospel is much more eloquent, although it conveys exactly the same message. Obviously, it's the same message. Yeah,
Hmm.
constant, right?
Hmm.
You got to be constant to God. You got to be constant in prostration and submission and obedience, and then you will be with remnants of the marks of that. Simple, huh?
Hmm.
Anyway, so there you go. So we come now. We go back to Quran. We went off on a tangent there.
Yeah, but
So
this somebody sent me a sign. Excuse me, a sign that also you clarified that these are not verses. The book of God is not to be sung; it's to be
mhm,
read. So these are
mhm.
signs. With the
Yeah,
literal translation of ayat or
yeah.
ayah is
Hmm.
sign, like a
Yep.
signpost. So
Yeah, there's
somebody sent
not.
me. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Somebody sent me a sign and saying that look, God helps. And then I said, show, let me check. Something about God helping, and I checked,
Yeah.
and I said, excuse me, he's talking about helping the believers. And he said,
Yes. Yeah.
and you think that you are that?
Yeah.
Have you
No, but
become a
God helps
Muslim?
both sides, by the way.
Yeah,
God helps the rejectors as well. What do you think? Do you think they get anything if God doesn't help them?
of
Do they
course.
think they don't overcome the believers in a battle if God doesn't help the rejectors? He helps both sides.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
today he's helping them more
Hmm.
than there are no believers.
Hmm.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
the apparentness. You have
Yeah.
to understand, in the unseen, the only helped are us. That is the reality.
Yeah.
Not to them from help and not protection. That's the reality of the unseen. They only look at the seen reality. And look, we're being helped. And look at this guy, me. He doesn't even have wealth. He's not even helped. He has no followers. Look at him. How can he be a messenger if he has no followers?
Yeah.
Really? So yeah, Noah had like the whole world following him. Yeah, that's why they were all drowned, except
Mm,
his family. Correct?
mm,
Nonsense, idiotic,
mm.
ludicrous garbage, absolute and total insanity. This
If there
their
is no
logic.
if there is nobody following a messenger of God, that shows a destitution of faith, like we mentioned
Absolutely.
in the
But
video.
there is no messenger of God, so that the
Um,
argument is lost.
yeah, this is like okay.
They've already based argument has been put. There is no messenger of God, so the one who comes and says it, he's crazy.
Even if
He's
he's coming with
crazy.
the truth,
Doesn't matter. I mean, he's already lied, you see. He
hmm,
says he's a messenger of God. There can be no messenger of God, so whatever he says is a lie.
they say astaghfirullah. Ye kya keh raha hai? What is he saying? What is he saying? What is he saying?
It's-
I'm saying that it's a messenger of God. And I'm not saying he's God. But oh, what are you saying? You see, that messenger is in our heart. What about
yeah.
God? He's not there. Don't you want to bring him first in your heart, God? Of course, bring the messengers too, but bring God first, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, by definition, messenger of God, not
Yeah.
messenger of himself.
Yeah.
But it's not going to go there. So I was telling you this because I had to remind the fella that dude, this is talking about believers here.
Oh,
Are
yeah.
you
I mean, it
think?
depends which sign it is as well, so I can't
Yeah.
tell you. Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, uh, uh,
Whatever, you tell me. Yeah, so then,
yeah. So
if
so
let's assume that's the one that's talking about the believers. Yeah.
in the sign I checked, it said and God surely and God something like to surely helping the believers. It was written
Yeah.
believers. So I asked
Yeah.
him. I said it's the believers. You're saying helping you. I mean, do you think that you are this? So my question was that most of us or the mankind thinks that they are the high ones, the righteous ones, the believers, the good people, the good men and women of the God, which is far far away from the truth because they haven't opened the book to see actually who they are
Hmm.
themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that they will never open this book, as I've told you for 12 years, because it's a mirror and it's ugly for man. It's ugly. Yeah. That's why they will never read the Quran, because
Hmm.
it's telling them what they are and where most of them are headed. And, it's telling you that your parents are most of them burning in hell. Your ancestors are all burning in hell right now.
That
And
upsets
you
me.
will most likely burn in hell. And your progeny will most likely burn in hell. When I say most likely, it means the probability of it is higher than 50%.
Hmm.
So definitely 50% plus one of mankind is going to burn in hell. So most of them are going to burn in hell. Obviously, that's how most is defined. Yeah, more than half is most. Yeah, but I'm more inclining towards 80% of mankind is going to burn in hell, because God has written in the Quran. I mean, He says clearly, "To my surely filling hell with the demons and the men all together." When He said it, then He's going to do it, obviously, and He's been doing it. It's nothing. There's no secret in this context whatsoever. He's going to do it. He's been doing it, and He will do it in the future. And at the end, when the final judgment occurs, He will do finality of that, and then everything will be stamped in place, and this whole story will end, and another one will begin probably.
Hmm.
I don't know.
And to go back to what you just mentioned, I mean, for all those people who would like to be a Muslim, won't you like to be? And by the way, the word Muslims, like, oh, Muslim is coming,
Yeah,
Muslim. I
yeah,
mean, it's a submitter.
yeah. That's
It's a
all it
just
means. Submit. Muslim is to submit, or one who submits, or a submitter. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. By the way, if all those Jews and Christians and anyone listening, you also submit to whatever you want, you're a submitter to that.
Yeah. So obviously the so-called Muslims are Muslims. They have submitted to garbage, to nonsense and lies. They are Muslim to lies. They are Muslim to Muhammad that they have invented. They
Hmm.
are not Muslim to the Muhammad that is true. Obviously, you have to submit to Muhammad, yeah, the one
Hmm.
in the Quran
Yeah.
after God. We submit to God doesn't mean we only submit to God. That's
Hmm.
the start point. And then you ought to submit to whatever God tells you in the book. But this book cannot be true, because it's telling us we're all going to hell.
Hmm.
It cannot be only satanic, this book. Yeah. So, yeah,
Hmm.
it says God said to Abraham, submit. And he said, I submit to Lord. And that's a Muslim. Now, how are you defining Muslim other than this? The word is also Aslim, Muslim. Aslim is the command, Muslim is the one who does the command. Yeah. Aslamtu is I submit. I mean, come on, it's so
Beautiful.
obvious,
It's
so
beautiful.
clear, and these
Sorry.
moron, retarded garbage mongers will not freaking come and argue one way or the other because there's no argument after this. There's no argument what a Muslim is.
Yeah.
Abraham is the true Muslim in the Quran.
Mm.
Yeah, they say these idiot Sunni Muslims, so called, they call them Sunni Muslims, not Muslims. We are Sunni Muslims. We are Akhani Muslims. We are Brailvi Muslims. We are Ahmadi Muslims. We are Shia Muslims. We are idiots. That's what you are. Yeah, you are idiots and morons, and you will burn in hell. Yeah, because you have submitted nonsense. You have submitted to a Muhammad that doesn't exist. This is a submitter, and they say that Abraham was a Hanafi. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard about this.
Yeah.
I've heard from some of these morons
Yeah.
that he is a Hanafi Muslim. Idiot. The word is Musliman Hanifan. Muslim true. He is a true Muslim, idiots. You are the false Muslims. That's the only attribute that is Abraham is given to make sure to stamp it home that he's a true Muslim. You are lying pieces of garbage who are submitted to a false Muhammad instead of submitting to the true Muhammad, which is talking to you in this book. And I'm repeating the exact same words to you from this book, and you don't submit to that.
Yeah. And also the fake Christians are out there, or the fake Jews, or whoever they want to call them. By the way, you can also read in the next one, and ordained with her Abraham his sons and Jacob. Jacob is saying, Asad, can you read this?
No, Jacob, this is not Jacob, this is Abraham saying to them.
Yeah, sorry, Abraham saying it. So can you read this one?
Yeah, oh my sons, surely the God chooses to you the way, so don't you surely die, except and you are Muslims, submitters to God, obviously, not to your souls, not to your desires, but you're all submitters to your desires and your souls and yourself and your higher authorities. And you will cry that day in front of God saying, my Lord, we submitted to our higher authorities. Punish them doubly. All of you are going to be punished. Don't worry. Yeah? Doubly
Mm,
and triply. Don't you worry about that either.
yeah.
Morons. Bunch of
And
morons.
not is Abraham a Jew or a Christian. I just last I would
Yeah.
like to
Yeah.
bring that one, because that was chapter 3, sign 67. um 64, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, this is very, very interesting, because uh let me just bring that up. And that is family of Imran. Here is the one, right?
So not is Abraham a Jew and not a Christian, but a true Muslim, Hanifan Musliman, and not is from the partnering. He makes no partners with God. He does not partner himself with God. He does not make equals with God. He does not do any of that nonsense. He does not partner himself with God either, at all. Nobody and himself. And that's why you're a Muslim after you submit to God. The Christians obviously are partnering the Spirit and Jesus with God and themselves, because the morons, the moron, idiotic, nonsensical, garbage mongering Christians say they're sons of God. The
Mhm.
moment you say you're a son of a God, you moron, you are a God as well, because the absolute lineage between man and son is you're the same. The son is the same as the man. I mean, the lineage is there, right? It grows into a man. Yeah, you've just uttered total nonsense, and for that you will burn in hell as well. Yeah. And the Jews, they've just rejected everything after the Torah, and the Torah as well, and added the Talmud, Talmudic teachings, they say, in addition to the Torah. And they are going to burn in hell. So there was no Jew when Abraham was here. There was no Christian when Abraham was here. Obviously. I mean,
Mm.
obviously there wasn't, even in their own historical record.
Mm.
And then, oh, now Muhammad came and he founded Islam with the Quran. Yeah. Before this, no Muslim. All right. Let's read this Quran, Muslims. Morons. Your Muhammad established Islam. He is the founder of Islam, you pieces of garbage. Yeah, read your book. Abraham is a Muslim. Noah says from his mouth, I submit. I from the Muslim. I commanded I be from the Muslims. Nonsense. Submission has existed from the beginning of whatever time you want to call it, from the beginning, and will subsist till the end forever. I mean, you submit to one thing or the other. Don't lie to yourself.
Hmm.
You submit to one thing or the other. Don't lie to anybody. This Muslim is to God in this Quran. And that's the Muslim you don't want to be, because then you realize that you actually have to obey God and us, his messengers.
Hmm.
That's impossible for you because there's no way a man you will obey. But you're obeying men all the time, morons.
Hmm.
How's
What
that?
a
Huh?
what a
Pieces
dichotomy, huh?
of
It's like I
yeah.
gotta run. I gotta obey my boss. My money. My money is coming from there.
Yeah,
My paycheck.
exactly.
My
Paychecks
God.
come.
My second God. My money and my boss is my God.
Exactly. He signs the check. And you are made to feel that as a manager. I used to be a manager, yeah. So when you
Yeah.
sign, you feel that thing in your heart. And I
Power.
didn't realize that we have this, now I know that we have the tendency of wanting to be gods and
Hmm.
lords in our hearts.
Hmm.
That's the thing that makes us fall into the abyss of hell. That's the first thing, because since you think you yourself are perfect and God and Lord, yeah, then nobody else can tell you to do anything. And that is in us, which is called the pharaonic,
Yeah.
the pharaonic mentality, which the Jews know quite well, and the so-called Christians. They're all pharaonic
Hmm.
because they think they're actually gods and lords, and nobody can tell them anything.
Hmm.
And they can tell anyone anything they want, but nobody can tell them anything because they have money and power, apparent, which they don't have. So anyway, let's
Hmm.
go back to the Quran to talk the
Yeah.
Quran,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
the
Yeah.
book, the Quran, is a book of God fundamentally, yeah. And the
Hmm.
meaning of Al Quran means the reading. It's a reading, and it is the reading or saying or statement which I've been saying incessantly for almost 15 years now, of the Holy Spirit Gabriel. In Arabic, he's called Ruhul Quddus, yeah, and his name is Jibril. In Arabic, the word Gabriel is pronounced Jibril, yeah, Jibrila, in some places. So that is what the Quran is, and it was read out by the Spirit when him and the angels came down in 10 nights of that 1 month of Ramadan, when the Hajj, the Great, or the Great Contention, was done in the city of Jerusalem, in the house the old, where the Hajj is supposed to be performed, which is called so-called Bait al-Muqaddas, which doesn't exist in the Quran. It's Bait al-Atiq, yeah, and Masjid al-Aqsa is in that house. That is where the Quran came down in 10 nights after Muhammad had vanquished all the morons with the help of God, and he had taken Jerusalem. Yeah, and he had come for the Hajj, and this Quran came down. And then 10 nights in that month, the Spirit and the angels descended, even in odd nights of that month, over 29 nights. In that 29 nights, 10 of those nights they came down. And it
Hmm.
was written by scribes, men who was brought out, in my understanding, from the cave that exists under the house of God, which is in Jerusalem. It still exists. I don't know where it is, and there may be people still sleeping in that cave. But the ones that came out wrote this Quran, supervised obviously by the Spirit and the angels that were there. That is what the Quran actually is. And it is a statement of truth from the beginning of this creation to the end of this creation, and what happened before the beginning of this creation, and what will happen after the end of this creation, and what will happen during this creation. So fundamentally, it's telling you everything that you need to know and almost everything you want to know. That's what it's telling you. And it ain't a statement of a man, a conscious being. It says so. They say it's a statement of a conscious being, like a man. No, it's a statement of a spirit who may be an angel, but he is the Holy Spirit, Gabriel, taught by God. They say it's the saying of God. Ain't the saying of God. Yeah, it's the
Saying of a
saying of
messenger
the
on.
Holy Spirit, a messenger honored. Yeah, it's a messenger. That is Gabriel. He is the messenger honored being spoken about. Not that the others aren't honored. Every
mm,
messenger is honored. But the honored messenger that is being spoken about, who's saying this is Gabriel. And he is commanding Muhammad to do whatever he's doing. He doesn't come ask Muhammad anything. He comes and tells Muhammad things. There's no asking when the command of God comes. There's telling. Yeah. And he is the command of God, the Spirit. And the angels are the command of God. And then the messenger becomes the command of God, because the command of God, which is the angels and the Spirit, come down and tell the other messenger, the little ones like us, to do or tell the people that. So that also becomes the command of God, obviously. I don't come with my own command. I come with the command of God, which is the Quran. It is the command of God. The book and the wisdom and the law is enshrined in this. And now this book, the Quran by itself, nothing outside of it, is a confirmation of the Torah that came to Moses in the 40 nights that he spent with God, when the angels wrote the Torah on tablets and handed it to Moses. And then he came down after 40 nights, found the idiots serving the calf, the little morons, sons of Israel, after seeing all the signs, being saved from Pharaoh, parting of the sea, all sorts of miracles, signs, what are you going to call them? Moses goes for 40 nights while Aaron is amongst them. The idiots start serving the calf because of the Samiri who took them astray. So that's when the Torah came down. And then after that, when Jesus came, before the Quran, obviously, he came with the Injil, which is the gospel, and he came with the Torah. The Bible is a summation of everything from the Torah to the gospel. Convoluted, mutilated, massacred from its true meaning, destroyed of its essence, following lies, and much truth in it as well. If you read the Torah with an open mind as to the fact that the Quran is the absolute truth, you will see so much truth in the Bible, and so much more in the Torah. Just the Torah, not the Talmud, not the other writings these idiots write. These pontiffs come with their pontification. Yeah. Oh, why are you pontificating? Isn't your Pope pontificate? Oh, he has the authority to do it. Why? Because you chose him. Are you the one who chose the Pope? Who chooses the Pope? The idiots who are in there, in
mm,
the Vatican. The cardinals, all these nonsensical satanic
mm,
scumbags, all of them. Scumbags they are, no less,
mm,
no short. They will burn in hell, no doubt in that. Absolutely. Take it to the bank. I'll
mm,
stake my life on it. They will burn in hell. They know the truth. They're
mm,
lying. They're scum of the earth, satanic, following the Satan. They will burn in hell. Mark my words. Yeah. So they can pontificate, but me, because I don't have big buildings behind me and tall cathedrals, yeah, and sprawling mansions, yeah, and huge bank accounts, and I don't steal your gold and silver and your goods to tell you that you're now not going to hell because you gave me your money. Yeah. It's nonsense. Yeah.
mm.
This is the nonsense these guys follow. I mean, I can stop here right now. Enough.
Yeah.
That is the Injil that came, which has the Torah and the Injil, the gospel. What was brought to Jesus was the gospel, which is the word of God. He is the word of God,
Mm,
Jesus. And whatever he says is the gospel
mm,
because he's the word of God. Anything that comes out of Jesus's mouth is the book of God,
mm,
no matter what he says. He is pure. No other messengers like him. No Muhammad, no Moses, nobody, Abraham, nobody's like him. He is akin to an angel because the
mm,
angels only speak the command of God, the word of God. They are all words of God, but we can't see them. Jesus, you could see, and he spoke the word of God while he
mm,
was here. And that is the Bible. That
mm,
is the gospel, yeah. But he also knew the Torah. God taught him the Torah as well. And the reason I believe, without any doubt in my mind, is because he's going to come and teach the Torah and the gospel again, the Injil. Because they've hidden the Torah and they've massacred what he said. So he'll come back and tell them, this is what's in your Torah which you've hidden and you have destroyed and mutilated and changed the meanings of words. And this is what I actually said when I came. And
mm,
this Quran, which you see and you denigrate, is the actual truth confirming what came to me. Now, what are you going to say about that? Kill him! Antichrist! Dajjal! He is the Antichrist!
They
Put
tried to
him
do
to
it one
death!
time. They tried to kill him before. Let's see if they
Yeah,
able to do it now.
fat chance of that happening. Fat chance in hell. Yeah,
Yeah.
hell will freeze over before you're going to get to Jesus. Okay? Hell, you may get to me. You ain't getting to Jesus when he comes back. Take that to the bank. You will all be massacred when you reject Jesus when he comes back. You may get to me. You won't get to Jesus. Guaranteed. And you might not even get to me, by the way.
And I think what pisses people off more, I use a bad word, but anyways,
It doesn't matter.
that how can this guy be a messenger when we haven't chosen him? You know, they want to
God,
be the
yeah, exactly. God sends his messengers to be chosen by you. Uh-huh. Yeah. He says, hey guys, go over there, be quiet, stand in line, wait for them to say you are messenger before you speak. If they don't accept that you are, don't speak. Don't speak then, yeah? Morons. God's command cannot be stood against, while you will stand against it till the punishment comes. So, oh, so I can stand against it, yeah? Yeah, till he lets you, but you can't stand against it in the end. Then that's what it matters, yeah? It matters when it's the end, not when it's the beginning. The beginning does not matter as much as the end. This everybody should know, but they don't. They want the middle. They want the control of the middle. They don't give a shit about the beginning because they don't know where it came from. And they don't know what's going to happen in the end. So we're going to fight the middle. Yeah, keep fighting it, morons.
Yeah,
You will
it's
see
just
what's going to come to you soon.
it's just like what I was telling my kids. If I always delayed exams and right at the last part, I would prepare and barely pass. And I was telling them that, guys, this exam, we cannot take it like any other exam, the exam of our life. We got to do it every day, absolutely watching over our souls and watching over what we're doing, and just make sure that we're aligned behind God and his messengers,
Yeah.
even if you don't understand much of it.
Oh, yeah. You won't. I
Yeah.
mean, most believers don't understand jack. I mean, if you look at the examples of the believers and the messengers, the believers are a bunch of retards in front of the messenger. Literally. And they are hypocritical. They backbite the messenger. They're like tongue in cheek to the messenger and the prophet. It's disgusting. These are the believers. Forget about the other people who are rejectors and hypocrites. Yeah. They say, oh, the ones that followed Muhammad were the best believers, best of the Muslims, and the believers were the ones who follow Muhammad. Really? Have you read the Quran? Have you seen what they did to Muhammad in the Quran? Yeah. Unbelievable, huh? Wretched freaks these people are. They just want to justify that they're fine and they're not. And they cannot justify it.
They did to the messengers what we all do to messengers: betray
It's just
God and
never
his
going to
message.
change.
Yeah,
Why would
betrayal,
it change?
betrayal.
Betray, hypocrisy, destitution, delusion, yeah, denigration, rejection, hurt, yeah, demean them, call them crazy. What are they talking about? I can't see any hereafter. Where's no signs of that? What is this book? Nonsense. Nonsense. God, what God? We are the gods. That's what they say.
Hmm.
Soon they
Yeah,
will know. Soon
which
it's coming.
one one day we will also talk about this whole nonsense of spirituality, how they've destroyed the whole concept of the spirit of God. Even
Mhm.
like in the Pakistan area, they would say we have ruh, and I say, what the hell are you talking about? You have soul, nafs,
Yeah.
but they
Oh
all
yeah.
say made
They've
my
all
ruh.
said, yeah. In the subcontinent or especially Pakistan, it's
Hmm.
ruh is what you are. No, morons. You are soul. You are nafs in the Quran and soul in uh, English, but Urdu, this language called Urdu, has massacred the Arabic language in like no other person can possibly imagine, and
Hmm.
no other language can possibly do, except the one who invented Urdu. Yeah, must be a high Satan, that guy who invented Urdu and all
Hmm.
these words that have been mutilated in actually not just the meanings but the way they pronounce the letters in
Hmm.
Urdu, destroying the way the Arabic is supposed to be pronounced. Yeah,
Hmm.
and then they denigrate the one who can't say the Arabic properly
Hmm.
because it's not pronouncing it properly. So yeah, we can talk about this later. Yeah, and
Yeah.
also to add to this, The books of God, just to wrap this up, we go to the next subject. Yeah.
Hmm.
So books of God are these Torah, the Injil, the Quran are in a book of God, which we are all in. We are all in a book of God, a record of God. Yeah? We all reside in this record, which is called the mother of the book, Ummul Kitab in Arabic, mother of the book. So all books, including these three that we have been talking about here in the last 20 minutes or so, all books are within that book. So these are little books. The Quran is nothing compared to mother of the book that contains everything that has ever happened, that is happening right now. Real time, it's being written as we speak. It's being written. And while we speak, there are billions others speaking, all being written. And they're writing their own books, just like we are writing our own books. With what we say and what we do, they are writing their books, and that account is what's going to come to them when they die. And that account is what's going to come to us when we die. And all this people's book is being written right now. This whole generation's book is being written through whatever time they started to this until they end. Then the next generation book will. So there are many, many records within the record, yeah. And every one of us has our own book within that record. That's where everything is written. That is the actual book, which is by the side of God and some of his angels and the
Yeah.
spirit, possibly. Yeah. So that's what I know about the books. Yeah.
Is more than anything of what we know. So that's good. But listen, isn't it weird that some of what you talked about, they would believe all of that shit that they would put in Harry Potter. They would show Dremedons or Dragons coming and dragging the souls from the body and taking them
Mm-hmm.
down the hell. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they would believe in that, and they'll believe in
Mm-hmm.
the book of the Harry Potter or
Yeah. Yeah.
Jumanji, and they would
Mm-hmm.
believe in all of that,
Yeah.
but not what
Mm-mm.
God and His
This
messages.
can't be. This can't be happening in actual reality. This is a fantasy, you see. It's science fiction, yeah? We invented it. Sure. How did you invent it? Yeah, you can't invent anything that God hasn't invented, yeah? The soul.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think we'll stop at the soul today.
Yeah, I think three is good.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, we can do five if we can, but let's stop at the
Again,
soul today.
I think it's going
Yeah.
to be enough. So,
We'll
yeah,
continue the other two in the next stream.
inshallah.
So, what about the soul?
The soul.
We were just talking about it, yes? It's a good segue.
Yeah.
Nafs and Ruh. So in the Quran, there are beings that have souls. And the beings that I know that have souls for sure, there are others that I may or may not know, but the ones I know for sure are all men, including women. Yeah. We all have souls. The demons, they all have souls. The angels, they all have souls, the spirit as well. The heavens, they all have souls. And the earths, they all have souls. They're alive, conscious beings. They're all conscious beings to the level where they have souls. Yeah. With the heavens and the earth, I would say with a asterisk. Yeah. I believe that with almost certainty. But the rest, I know absolutely. And the God has a soul.
Wow.
So we all have souls. And no one is equal to that soul. Don't think because you have a soul that you're God because God has a soul. This is the nonsense they will invent, obviously. Yeah.
So God has a soul and a spirit.
No, God has a soul.
Okay.
The spirit belongs to him. I mean, the
Okay.
spirit is Gabriel. He doesn't have a spirit. I mean, yeah, he has a spirit, but it's not him. He has
Yeah.
a messenger like me, but I'm not him. He
Got it.
has a messenger like Jesus. That's also belongs to God,
Yeah.
right? So
Uh-huh.
everything belongs to God. Coming to that question answer, yeah, everything belongs to God. You must understand that. So he has a spirit, absolutely, his spirit, but if that's not him, yeah, he himself has a soul. Now, does he have a form? I don't know. I don't know. I can tell you one thing for sure, that all the souls that are talked about in the Quran are female entities, not women. They're female, feminine. So when people are confused about their gender, they have some right to do that, because a man has a feminine entity which is a soul, yeah, and the masculine body that he is in. So he can have some dichotomy or feelings of confusion. Yeah. The woman in him. Yeah. The woman in the man. Yeah. It's not the woman. It's the That's what you are. You are a feminine. You are a feminine entity. Whether you're a woman, you're a man.
Hmm.
The soul is a female. Yeah. But now when you make a man, you don't call her. You call me he. Yeah.
Hmm.
And these days, I don't know. Let's not talk about that nonsense. But like a man, biology, you call him a man. Yeah. For all of time, it's been that. Now we've suddenly figured out other nonsense, which is bullshit. Anyway, so this is the man who is a male, but inside the man is me. I'm not the man. I am the soul. Yeah. And you can prove this that you're not the body because in the night you disappear. In the night or when you sleep, anyone, you disappear, don't you? I mean, you know it. Don't, I mean, if you say that you don't disappear, then you're lying to me, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the neurons are shutting down. So your body doesn't work when you're asleep. If the neurons shut down, then your body can't function, you fool.
Everything
Yeah.
is functioning.
So understand that you disappear.
Hmm.
And there's your time travel, right? You can travel into the future because every time you sleep, your body stays here, but you're not. You do not perceive the time changing. It's hard to perceive how much time you've been sleeping. That is time travel. That's why people have woken up after 100 years and they don't know even a day passed, or after 309 years and they don't know even if a day has passed, or some days. They don't know. We have no clue. Yeah. If you got up in the morning and it was dark, would you know how much you slept during the night?
No.
No. Yeah. So the only thing that tells us the next day is because there's light out there. Yeah.
Hmm.
When you wake up in the middle of the night, I mean, 99% chance you have no idea what time it is after you've gone to sleep. So this is what happens to you. Your soul, I say disappear, that's not the right terminology, is taken out of you when you sleep. Your soul is taken out of your body by the angel of death and it goes up to the star for regeneration, the star that follows you. This is how it functions. Yeah? Every soul has a star that follows her up in the heaven. Look
Beautiful.
up, you've got a star up there following you. Yeah, your star. Yeah. And that's where you go when you sleep to whatever, regenerate, I don't know, whatever. You come back, you're regenerated. Yeah,
Recoup. Yeah.
you recovered from your
Yeah. Energized.
tiredness and all. You're energized. So that's what happens while you sleep and while in the night. This is how the soul functions. Yeah, the actual way how the soul functions. God takes all the souls to Himself when they sleep, and then He returns the one that He doesn't want to give death to, and He stops the one that He wants to give death to. So I would suggest that in that context, the best way to die is in your sleep because your soul's already left your body. Yeah? I don't know the reality, but I would suggest that would be the best way to die when you're sleeping because the soul's already gone. So they can now crush the body. You don't feel a thing. Yeah. I mean, the example is when you're dying of pain, you've got a headache. When you go to sleep, you feel it.
No.
When you come back, you feel it again. Yeah.
Perfect.
Unless the body is recovered because your nonsensical soul has left it to do its normal task. Yeah. Because your nonsensical, stupid, idiotic soul, which is causing all the strife to your body, has left it. So the body now is at peace and can actually regenerate itself.
Wow.
What a bunch of BS these people are. Huh? Have no sense. So this is what the soul is. I mean, what actually the soul is, I don't know. It's an intangible for us. Yeah. It is not intangible to God. He has got every soul measured and recorded and stood up in her own place and her own potential. And every soul is differently endowed by God, differently blessed by God, differently created, shaped. He does it. Yeah, He knows what He's doing with each soul, and He will never burden a soul more than what she is capable of. Her amplitude, as the Quran says. Every soul has an amplitude. He expands the amplitude. He reduces the amplitude. As you grow, your soul's amplitude reduces. Yeah, from when you're adult. And as you grow from a child, it expands. The amplitude of soul expands until you get old, when it contracts again and then you die. But the soul is the same. And God will never burden a soul more than her amplitude. You may think he does, but he doesn't. But when the punishment comes, then it will be beyond your understanding, and it's coming soon. So I don't know what else about the soul I can tell you.
So right now, what I'm hearing from you is actually your soul. This is your soul speaking, and this is my soul speaking, right?
Yeah, we interact or interface with this body that belongs to God. He has given it to us and put our soul in it, and we control it to the extent God lets us control it in this creation area. So that's how it's working right now. And when he takes us out, then you have no control over the body while you're still
Mm.
alive. And
Mhm.
sometimes he keeps your soul in the body and takes the control of the body away from you, and you cry till you die. Yeah.
Mm.
Paralysis and blindness and
Coma.
deafness and
Yeah.
dumbness and all sorts of other ailments that come to us. Some of them are trials, others are punishment for your misdeeds, yeah, for your uh, rebelliousness, for your rejection of God, for your ingrateness. We are ingrates to God, all of us. I mean, a man is defined as a wrongdoing, ignorant, a impatient, hasty, um, falsifier as well, a rejecter. Yeah, man is a rejecter, clear. Yeah. But you can use all of these things for good as well. I've said that many times. You
Mm.
can use all the qualities that you have for good, like doubt. I mean, doubt has to be there for you to be able to believe anything. I mean, the only way you know something is when there is no doubt, right?
Mm.
Belief in itself contains the act of doubting. Otherwise, there would be no belief. You'd know it, right?
Mm.
So when people say that knowing is better than belief, in some instances, yes. Yeah. In general instances, yeah, if I know there's a God, it would be better than if I believe there's a God. I know there's a God now. Yeah. Most people try and believe there's a God. To get to the knowing, you have to go through belief.
Mm.
And that means you have to turn away from another belief or another knowing, right? Because
Mm.
people think they know, I say, they will never turn away, because what they believe or trying to believe is going to be less than what they know already, and they've known whatever they've known that they think they know, so they can't come back to any belief which they
Even if
don't.
it's wrong, even
Wrong
if.
or right doesn't matter, both ways. Now I know there's a God, there's no way I can go back to rejection. That's a good knowing. Yeah.
Mm.
If you know there's no God, which you think, because reality is different, then you're screwed. That's the
Mm.
satanic path. Actually satanic path, but the Satans, ironically, yeah, oxymoronically, the Satans know there's a God, yet they
Mm.
cannot come to the right side of God. And these are all these entities that you see running the earth today, the satanic people, the satanic demons, and the Satan demons, and this, not the satanic, the Satans. The satanic people, some of them, most of them, all of them, I don't know, can come back. The Satans cannot come back. They cannot come back to God. They have accepted the ultimate sacrifice of their soul to the Satan in charge, which is Iblis. They have sacrificed themselves to Iblis. They've sold themselves. Let me see this clearly. They have sold their souls to Iblis. They will burn in the fire. They know they will burn in the fire, like people like Bill Gates, Soros, the Morgans, these high up people, Musk. They have sold their souls to Satan. They know they cannot come back. Thus, they want everyone else to go with them to hell. And that's what they're plotting right now, while giving you all sorts of fables and fairy tales to entice you to be like them.
Mm.
Yeah, until you're exactly like them, then say, hey, welcome to the club. You're not
Shit.
going anywhere except hell. The rest, they're still trying to pull. Yeah, they're in the halfway houses.
They're succeeding. Look at them.
I know. I mean, obviously,
Million. Yeah.
99% success rate. Yeah, Satan's success rate is all awesome. It's
Yeah.
because God has said that we are a bunch of idiots and we will not follow except what our desires are. And Satan has said he's going to beautify to us in the world. Yeah, the beauty of the world will deceive them, and he deceives us with the beauty of the world. God has told you that don't let the beauty of the world deceive you, the life of the world. Don't let the life of the world deceive you. Yeah, and that's exactly what deceives them. The beauty of the life of the world and the life of the world. Yeah, and then with God, they get deceived in the end, which is happening now. Now God's deception is coming. That's far greater than Satan's deception. Trust me.
Mm, mm,
Because when God's deception comes, everybody thinks they're freaking the best thing since sliced bread. Yeah,
mm.
like Pharaoh, until the last instant when the water goes over your head, when you're not neck deep in your water, when it goes over your head, and then you realize, and it's too late. This is the reality. This is what's going to happen. I mean, to all of these people on the earth, literally. By literally, I mean not literally, but literally the other meaning of literally, which is all of most of them, not all of them. I'm not going there. The Satan cannot turn me back now. The Satan has lost to me, guaranteed. I have just to fight my soul now, and that's hard enough, by the way. Our souls are a bunch of um, emotionally damaged beings. Yeah, that's all I can say. Emotional damage. Yeah, we are all emotionally damaged, especially because we brought up in this nonsensical world that our parents taught us nonsense all our lives, complete and total garbage, and that destroys the actual essence of the soul by taking away the actual freedom that God has given the soul to make a choice. They take away your choice while telling you you're free. And this is freedom while it's enslavement. Yeah. And that's what's happening. And that's what's going to happen to every soul. I broke away a long time ago. I curse them all for their rejection. I don't have any problem. If you think cursing is bad, then don't curse. I think cursing is good, so I curse.
Mm. And
That's how it
everyone is,
works.
and like what you said before, everyone else is cursing. This
Oh,
is
of
it.
course,
They're
yeah,
cursing
yeah.
in their hearts. They're not
They will say,
hypocritical
"Oh,
cursing.
oh, I love you. I love you. You're so good, man. Those are words of wisdom. You are so nice. Thank you for your consideration." Into lying, hypocritical pieces of garbage. Hypocritical pieces of garbage. They'll come in, and some of them act, "Oh, you are the messenger of God. We witness you are the messenger of God." Some people have said to me, and then they turn and run the other way, and God will show them soon the fire. This is how it works. Yeah. Those who believe, when they reject, they're worse than those who never believed. Those who believe the messenger and covenant with him, accept him, and then they turn back and reject him, there's no hope for them. Those who have never known a messenger or did not believe, or they're still fighting their initial doubts and their delusions, they're better off. Not that they're not going to hell, but they might be in a higher level of hell. They might not get shafted as badly as the ones who believe and then reject.
Well, that summarizes all of our lives here,
It's the
except
way it is, man.
except the
What can
service of
you
the
do to
Lord.
these people? There's nothing they can bring them back. I've done. I mean, I've given up. If you ask me in my soul, but I will still keep saying it because it's fun. I like saying what I'm saying. They can stop me as well. I mean, the platforms are under the control of these satanic entities. I tell them, take me down. Soon your platform will be taken down because it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to God, right?
Mm.
Everything belongs to God. Don't think you have any other ideas. If you have any other ideas that something belongs to you, you're completely deluded. Nothing belongs to you. You have the power and control over something. That's all. And that you don't even have because God has the control and power over that. So what do you control? Nothing. Yeah. When you create something, you're not creating it. God's created it. He's creating it. You ain't create anything. It's the example of the Lego pieces. Yeah. The little 5-year-old, 4-year-old gets Lego pieces and puts it all together. And there's a little train, a little car with the wheels. Look what I created. No, idiot, you didn't create it. God created it. Why? Did you make the blocks? Someone else make the blocks, yeah? So you didn't create it, whoever made the blocks. And the one who says, I made the blocks, so I created that. Yeah, this is how they patent things, yeah? These
Mm.
idiots, complete morons. There can be no patent on anything because God has a patent on everything. And he's given it to us. He doesn't charge it for us, to us. He doesn't charge us for living in this earth. Who the hell are you to charge me to live in this earth? You bunch of morons. You little retards, you scumbags. Who has given you the authority to charge me to live in this earth? As if you control or own the water and the power and everything else on the earth and the air. You can go to hell, okay? You can all go to hell, and you will. Yeah, this nonsense that they've invented, all this, and God doesn't intend us to suffer on this earth. It's we who intend suffering upon ourselves. That's why God intends suffering on us, because we're a bunch of retards and we'll never grow up. It's never happened before. It's not going to happen now. Now they're so deluded thinking that they've grown up now. We have such intellectual discourse. Look, we can communicate like this. What? Without science, we wouldn't have this. Assholes. Without God, you wouldn't have this.
Hmm.
Okay? Without God, you would not have this. Don't say garbage from your mouths. Because if this earth and heaven did not exist, you would not exist. And if you wouldn't exist, nothing you created would exist because of you. It would still exist. Because you put two boards together and you made a cottage doesn't make you the creator of that cottage. Everything is created by God. It's the absolute truth.
Hmm.
Nothing man creates at all, ever, evil or good, everything, anything, destructive or constructive, positive or negative, up or down, left or right, back or forward, it's all created by God. You just have figured out how to manipulate it. It's
Hmm.
always there. I mean, it's not like when you make gold jewelry that you created with gold. I mean, the alchemists are still at it. We're going to create gold out of thin air. Yeah. How's that going? Yeah. You cannot destroy gold and you cannot create gold in this creation. God can.
Hmm.
Yeah, he can give me the touch, the Midas touch. Yeah. Then I
Yeah.
touch something, oh, it becomes gold.
Hmm.
Yeah, the story about the Midas touch. Yeah, the king.
Hmm.
Yeah, he can make anything into anything. I
Hmm.
mean, but he has made it so that the earth is balanced because gold is the currency that he's put on the earth. The money is gold. So
Hmm.
you cannot destroy or create gold. You can only mine gold, and you can only mine as much as the people that you have. So it always be in balance. Yeah, the currency will be in balance to the proportion of the people on the earth in general. Yeah. So this is all nonsense that we create anything. We don't create anything. None of this technology has been created by us. None of it. Yeah, you can argue that you put it together because someone gave you some knowledge or you got some knowledge from someone and you
Hmm.
could create these technology. Oh, this is what science does. No, idiot. This is you figuring out how to make things, little freaking trinkets. Yeah, little gadgets, little phones, little TVs, your communication, your 4G, 5G, 8G, say whatever the hell you make this. It's all nonsense. I mean, God is doing this, obviously. There's no doubt that God is making this creation the way it is today for his purposes. Everything is done for God's purposes in the end.
Hmm.
You cannot think that it's happening because God didn't want it to happen, or it's going to end up in the favor of someone else other than God in the end. Right?
Hmm.
This is
Hmm.
what they think. They're
Hmm.
going to defend against God and his forces. Yeah. They're preparing for the alien attack now. Yeah. This is the new fad that we have to prepare for an alien attack. Yeah. They have all this UFOs, all this nonsense. Yeah, of course they're UFOs. There are lots of angels and other entities flying around that you don't have any clue about, and you will never be able to defend against them anyway, even if you see them. Yeah,
Hmm.
even if you see them. But there are other unidentified objects that you don't know what's happening up there, flying around and all this stuff, and they're making you fear that there's some alien force coming for us. Yeah, from the other side of the so-called galaxy. Yeah,
Hmm.
nonsense. There's no galaxy or any nonsense like this. So when they actually arrive, think about this. Yeah,
Hmm.
the angels will arrive. Obviously, this is not the first time. Yeah, this is probably the thousandth time or the hundredth time, where how many ever generations have been destroyed. And sometimes they don't even come. They just send one little strike from the heaven, and they're all vanquished. Yeah. But let's assume that the angels arrive and oh, look, the angels are here. We got to fight against them. That's what they're preparing with all these weapons, laser weapons, and their 5G planes. The fifth generation fighter planes, all this nonsense. Imagine when the aliens arrive, yeah, and they're going to be obviously the angels, yeah, who will come to destroy them, and they stand up and they're going to try and fight them, and they're going to make the mankind fight the angels of God. Okay, let's see how far that will go. Yeah, It's an insanity what these people are on. The pot that they are smoking is not the pot they need to smoke. Yeah, they are smoking the wrong pot. Yeah, they need to start smoking the right pot.
And understanding that one angel would be enough to wipe us all out.
Yeah, I mean, this is what God has said.
Yeah.
If we send down an angel to be decide the command, then not will they be looking. So I have two by my side. Yeah, how about you get by them and come to me? How about that? Yeah, I've been inviting them to come get me. I'm open. Yeah, come finish me off, so you can be finished off right after that. Yeah, I know I'm going to be finished off. There's no two things about it. I'm not going to live forever. I'm not going to survive in my existence here forever. That's not happening. I know that. The quicker I get out of this now, the better for me because I've reached my pinnacle as far as I'm concerned. I can't do much better than this. As I see it, God knows what I can or cannot do. But as I see it, I'm way beyond my limits of what I thought I could achieve in this life. I mean, I never knew that I would learn the book or I'd be able to translate the book or understand the book. That's the first thing, yeah. And explain the book in ways that I could not imagine. I didn't know what the faith was. I didn't know what the book was. I didn't know any of this stuff. I didn't know God was going to teach me this book. I had no idea I was going to be a messenger of God. None of that. All of that I hesitatingly accepted. I pushed it back until I couldn't push it back. I wasn't the guy who jumped in and said, yeah, I'm God's messenger. No, I don't want to be that.
There's
Because
people
I've
like
read
us.
enough of this book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
people like us
absolutely.
do that. They do this
Exactly.
kind of stupid thing. You never said it.
Yeah.
Even when you said it, you were kind of like you said, hesitantly.
I
When
mean,
the
it's
first
like we
time.
are all hesitant because look at Moses. He didn't want to go back to Pharaoh after God met him at the fire. And like, oh, I fear they're going to kill
Mm,
us. I fear that they will transgress or they will forget. I killed a soul. I fear that they will kill me. Yeah, both of them, Aaron and Moses. So we are humble to God and we are true to ourselves that we are cowards. Yeah, in reality, we are all cowards, but God gives us strength
mm,
to overcome that cowardice that we are, all of us. So now it's gone. I've done my job. My job is finished. And if you see the story of Moses, you'll see him progress through that until
mm,
he has no fear at all, except
mm,
God.
mm,
And that's where I am now. I don't give a damn. I finished my task. The message been delivered. There's no turning it back now. It's recorded in the book I told you about earlier. You
mm,
can't take it out of that book. You can take it out of your books, Facebook, Twitter,
mm,
Twitch, YouTube. These books you can take it out of. But
mm,
the real book you cannot take it out of, and that's where it matters. That's
mm.
where it's recorded. That's
And they
where it's going
cannot
to be presented to you.
take it out of our hearts.
I mean, that's obviously the believer, the heart, and the soul is what matters. They have no control over that. Absolutely no control. You control your own soul to what God gives you control over her, yourself, basically. And that's the free will. Do you not understand? Not the hands and the feet and the eyes and the arms. It's the soul. The soul has freedom to choose certain things. We are not totally free. Absolutely not. Not a chance. We are not free beings. As they tell you, freedom or death. Well, then die because you're not free. You're
Mm,
only free to a minuscule amount, which makes you believe that you're completely free.
mm,
If you try and count the ways you control the things within you and without you against the things that control you within you and without you, you don't understand you have no control. If
mm,
you think that way, but you will never think that way. You think you have full control over yourself, yeah, and everything around you. I manifest myself and it happens.
mm,
Just because you manifest it and it happens doesn't make you controlling. There's magic. People know how to invoke magic and do magical things in this earth because it's been around since forever. Yeah, I mean, God is the true creator of magic as well. So when you are capable of doing certain things which you see around the world, the magicians, and some of them are actually real magicians, probably taught by the Satans and the demons, and they use the demons to do their magical tricks. Yeah, when you see that, you must understand that you think they have control. No, God has taught them that. It's God who brought the magic. The angels taught the magic to the Satans. Yeah, Harut and Marut in the
Mm.
kingdom of Solomon. The angels taught the magic, and they told them, "Do not reject.
For a
We
trial.
are a trial. Do not reject," before they taught anyone. And they used it for all evil, and they're still using. You think it finished? I mean, these things, they all know the magic was for the old times. There's old fairy tales. Magic doesn't exist. Nonsense. Nonsense. Magic is all around you still, and it's harming you more than helping you because the Satans have taken your soul or infected your soul, I would say. And now they're using magic to turn you against God completely. And you're falling for it left, right, and center. The magic of Disney. Have you heard about that? They
Hmm.
use the word, the magic of Disney. Your imagination. It's magical. It's magical. Right. I don't know why they use those words. Yeah. I wonder, maybe it's intrinsically in us that there's magic and we consider that to be the magic when the real magic is you yourself. I mean, we are magical beings. Everything is magical around us on the earth that is happening, far greater than any nonsense they show you. Yeah. But they make you slip into that. This is the reality. Yeah. The reality. So,
Wow.
having said that, I think we have come to the end of this stream
Yeah.
with at least, I think there's at least 5 million viewers for this one, right?
Uh, I mean, from the unseen, yeah.
Of
Maybe
course,
more.
that's what I was meaning. If you got it,
Yeah.
huh? You got it this time.
I'm learning. I'm learning.
Yeah,
But yeah, the whole idea that I heard in Pakistan or Pakistan, like they would call it, but it's actually Pakistan. The Ashraful Makhlukat, and I was reading the Quran and I came across that sign that God was talking about the heavens and the earth being far, far
greater
greater than the creation of
than
man. But
mankind.
it's funny. But I don't want to waste any time on that.
Yeah, we
We
could
can
go on
talk
that.
about that on another episode.
Yeah,
But just to bring it back, so we stopped at the soul. We talked
yeah,
about the God, the Quran, the soul, the Satan. I'm going to use another vocabulary for this, but we're not now. And the second life, which is very interesting. It's
yeah,
like since you talked about it, and we can clearly see in the book that it is the truth, it's the absolute truth. There's so much proof of that in the
yeah,
book. And then a lot of people have pushed back on this. It's like it's a shock of their life, so we will talk about that in the next
yeah.
episode if wishes the God.
Yep, I
I
think we should leave that. Those two things should be good for the next whole stream. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Satan
those.
and the second life. We'll
Oh
bring
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
All right. So, any other final words, or are we done?
um God, accept what you and I just tried to do. That would be my prayer.
If he wishes.
Inshallah.
I didn't do it for not his acceptance. I did it for his acceptance. So that's my intention. That's all matters. If I do wrong, he knows what my intention is. If I falter, he knows what my intention was. So if my intention was pure, then whether I falter or make mistakes doesn't matter. He will forgive for that.
On
This is
that
our
note.
Lord, the forgiving, the merciful. He looks at your intention, the sincerity and the level of your commitment to Him and conviction in what you're doing. That's all that matters to Him. We're going to fail in whatever we try and do. We're going to fail eventually. So cool, man. Good. It's a good stream. I enjoyed that.
Well, I appreciate your time, and until next time,
Salam.
salam and peace.